What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing, back at you again. Today's topic, Eddie Hearn, and I quote, a lot of my success in boxing comes through Kell Brook. Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life you for riches, huh? That life you for riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glaze, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fans, let's chop up some boxing today. All right, so you heard the topic of today. Eddie Hearn talking about, a lot of his success in boxing, came through working with Kell Brook. So let's listen to some more of what he has to say about that, okay?
But the truth is we have had some incredible times. You know, I started with Kell Brook, and he couldn't sell 100 tickets. I took him, went to the Hillsborough Leisure Centre, we built it from there. You know, we took Matthew Hatton, and a lot of my success in boxing comes through my relationship with Kell Brook. So that's why it was so.
Okay, so you heard what he had to say. He said a lot of his success in boxing came through Kell Brook. I mean, working with Kell Brook. So the fact that they're not working together on this Crawford fight, which is probably one of the most important fights in Kell Brook's career at this point, says a lot. Okay, and we're gonna talk about that and see what we can come up with. I mean, uh, the question I would ask is, to Eddie Hearn, is since a lot of your success in boxing came through Kell Brook, what is that really worth? What was it worth back then, and what is it worth now? Okay, so now I watched it. You can go and watch that interview. By the way, it's a pretty interesting interview with Kugan Cassius. I mean, it answers a lot of questions, and then you also there's another interview that Kugan did, with Adam Smith, where he asked him about what Hearn said, and what Kell said. So obviously something is going on between Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook, whatever that might be, we don't know. But from watching the interview, you know, watching both guys, I saw the Kell Brook interview and I saw the Eddie Hearn interview. So there's something going on, and both guys seem, a bit upset and wistful, in as far as their relationship and working together goes. I mean, uh, based on what I saw, it looked to me like Kell Brook, probably would have liked to work with Eddie Hearn. I don't know why they didn't. Okay, I mean, from what I'm hearing from Eddie Hearn, uh, he they didn't consult him about this fight, and to be honest, I mean, listen to Eddie Hearn talk. I mean, he's saying, that's fine and they can do what they want and this and that. It's their prerogative and they can decide who they want to work with and all that. But to me, it seems like he's actually hurt about the whole thing. Personally, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. It looks like that to me. That is, actually personally hurt. And and it's the same thing with Brook. It looks like he's personally hurt about this whole situation. So it's pretty interesting. Again, I don't know why these guys not working together. I don't know why Brook didn't go and approach Eddie Hearn first. If it's the money, as Eddie Hearn said, or maybe they didn't want him to make any money. Maybe they did, and he also made reference to the fact that they're not having their usual trainer, and that maybe they didn't want the trainer to make any money either. So I mean, he talked about the fact that nobody consulted him about the fight, that they went straight to Top Rank, and they Kell was working with Bob Arum, and he's calling Bob Arum Uncle Bob, which is another thing that seemed to upset Eddie Hearn for some reason. I mean, I understand again, I guess. I mean, when you work with somebody for 8 years, as he has worked with Kell Brook, I mean, you have to develop some kind of relationship, and I'm pretty sure, he probably felt that, you know, uh, he was Uncle Hearn, you know what I mean? You know, to coin the phrase. But I mean, and he probably felt a little bad about the fact that there it is, you know, Kell Brook don't even never really worked with Bob Arum like that, but he's now calling him Uncle Bob, like kind of taking his place, you know. So uh, he looks pretty hurt about that, and I don't really blame him. I mean, I can understand where he's coming from at that point. Okay, I mean, you know, I mean, we didn't really get an understanding of why Kell Brook decided not to work with Hearn in this one. I mean, he didn't. I don't think he really came out and said anything about it, other than that he felt that, you know, the fight should have been in the sky, and that, you know, it was about money, that Eddie Hearn is not putting it there because he's not making the money at the fight or whatever. He's talked about how, you know, he saved the card with Golovkin and this and that, and then Eddie Hearn came out and said that way. What do you know? What is he talking about? You know, he made a lot of money for that card. That was his choice to make, you know, to take that fight, and he made a lot of money by taking that fight. And he also made some references to Kell Brook's, you know, lack of discipline, and that his career could have been greater, this, that, and the other. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot to chop up here. So I mean, I've heard rumors about Kell Brook, you know, in terms of his discipline, you know, with boxing, and it's hard to get him motivated. Okay, and I've seen Kell Brook in between fights. He always looks out of shape, fat. You know, he looks like he balloons up out of shape in between fights, which is not a good thing. Okay, and you know, I've seen that for myself, so I know that what they're talking about in terms of being, you know, discipline wise. Okay, and so you know, I've never really been a fan. I mean, you know, I like Kell Brook as a fighter, and I've, you know, I did several videos about him leading up to the Errol Spence fight, and you know, I thought he would have won that fight, but you know, we all know what happened. Errol Spence broke his eye socket, and that was the end of that. But I'm not, you know, I like I said, I like Kell Brook, and you know, but again, I'm not really a fan of the fighters who don't, you know, discipline themselves. Okay, you know, that's a problem for fighters, and you know, it can get, you know, become a detrimental problem, you know, when you continually stay out of shape. And you know, a lot of these fighters like to party, and I mean, you know, life is what it is, and people want to do what they want to do, but you know, I'm not really a fan of these guys who, you know, do a lot of drinking and, you know, that type of thing, and partying and eating, and they're supposed to be fighters. I mean, you know, a fighter, as far as I see, should supposed to lead a disciplined life. Okay, and so you know, and if you're not leading a disciplined life, it's gonna affect your how you you know, how you comport yourself in the ring. Okay, so Kell Brook, you know, hasn't been the most difficult disciplined fighter from, you know, what I've seen. And you know, Eddie Hearn makes reference to that, and how, you know, I guess he's actually saying he has given, even though Kell Brook was like at times was never really motivated to fight the fight that he was supposed to fight, but he, you know, Eddie Hearn is saying that he had basically gave him a lot of give me fights. Okay, you know, where, you know, he could still make money. Okay, and even though that wasn't the fight they really wanted to put on. Okay, and so I understand that as well. So that's part of the give and take when you're working with somebody, I guess. But you know, basically what Eddie Hearn is saying, that he's went out, you know, above and beyond the call of duty in terms of getting Kell Brook the things that he needed to move his career forward. Okay, and you know, he also made reference to the point about being in the hospital with Kell Brook. Now I don't know what he was talking about as far as that's concerned. If it was about after the Golovkin fight when he had to get his eye fixed, or was it when Kell Brook had got stabbed over some incident some years ago? I don't remember. I'm not really sure what the incident was about, but he had gotten stabbed and he was in the hospital. I saw a picture of Eddie Hearn in the hospital with him, so I don't know. Yeah, that was doing the stabbing part, but I don't know what part, you know, if he was referring to that or he was referring to something else. But yeah, so basically these guys have been in a marriage together for years. Okay, if you want to call it that, to coin another phrase. Okay, they've been married basically, you know, figuratively speaking. And so in any relationship you're going to have ups and downs, and they've had their ups and downs, but overall, like Eddie Hearn himself said, they've had some fantastic times. Okay, and he also again made reference to the fact that his success, Eddie Hearn's success in boxing, okay, a lot of his success, this is the quote, we heard the quote, I just played it. he's saying that a lot of his success in boxing comes through working with Kell Brook. So my question would be, well, what is that really worth to Eddie Hearn? Okay. Now, Eddie Hearn talks about the fact that the reason why Kell Brook might not want to involve him because, he didn't want to, he wanted to make as much money as possible. Maybe he's cashing out, he's saying, and maybe he wanted to make as much money as possible. And, Eddie Hearn also made reference to the fact that Kell Brook made a lot of money in the Golovkin fight. Okay. But I mean, at the end of the day, whatever deal they could have made, I understand about what Eddie Hearn is saying in this sense, because now the Kell Brook Crawford fight is a huge fight. Okay, there's a lot of interest in that fight. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most intriguing fight of the year, and I heard that on while I was listening to Contender Regime. Shout out to Contender Regime. Okay, he made that point, and I agree with him on that. Okay, this is one of the most intriguing fight, if not the most intriguing fight of the year, actually, and a lot of people are going to tune in for this fight. Okay, so I'm sure Eddie Hearn probably understands that as well, and that there's a lot of talk about this fight here in America. Okay, and I'm sure Eddie Hearn would have wanted to get a piece of that promotional real estate, so to speak. Okay, I mean that would have been great for DAZN. I mean, his platform. Great for matchroom boxing. Okay, so I'm pretty sure he definitely wanted a piece of that action in terms of getting a part of promotional pie, to promote his matchroom, especially right now when there's a pandemic on and a lot of things are in flux. So I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn would actually have loved to get a piece of that the action for that fight, and I don't blame him, because that's I would have wanted a piece of the action too. So it's kind of inexplicable why Kell Brook wouldn't have included Eddie Hearn in that. I mean, if it's the money thing, I mean, they probably could have worked out the money thing. I'm pretty sure. I mean, at the end of the day, like Eddie Hearn said, he made a lot of money working with Kell Brook. That was, it had a lot of success. A lot of success came through Kell Brook. So there's no need for Eddie Hearn to have to make money off of Kell Brook at this point. If he felt that this was the last fight, or this was a fight where Kell Brook was cashing out, I was trying to basically and kind of go off into the sunset. So if that's what he felt, even though I don't, I'm not sure if that's the case, because Kell Brook is saying he's ready to take this to the max. I will get to that in a minute. But so, they could have worked something out. I mean, I'm pretty sure, where maybe Eddie Hearn didn't take a bigger percentage as he usually does, or whatever that might be, just to be a part of that whole promotional bonanza that would have come about. Because I would have loved to see Eddie Hearn be a part of this whole thing, because it would have been great, great theater, great promotion, and it would have been great. I mean, I think, and I think the fight would have gotten more promotion than it's actually getting now, because top rank is not really known for their promotion, unless they're doing something like Joshua Fury or something like that. I don't know, but if Eddie Hearn was involved, I'm sure this fight that probably got a little bit more promotion than it's actually getting right now. Okay, so yeah, so I'm it's kind of inexplicable why Kell Brook didn't really involve Eddie Hearn, and I'm kind of surprised that is the case. But be whatever it is, I mean, these guys, Eddie Hearn, and Kell Brook need to work that out. I mean, I guess it probably can't be worked out at this point, because the fight is on November 7th, and so there's not really, everything's already in play. So I'm pretty sure that Eddie Hearn probably can't get in on any of the promotional aspect of the fight in terms of the unless he would let the fight go on Sky, okay, and then maybe he could get in that way somewhere, but I don't really know about it, so I'm just speculating, but again, the fight is less than 3 weeks away now, okay, so it's kind of late in the day for that type of thing. This could have been done much earlier, okay. So again, I understand that Eddie Hearn's position, and I'm not sure what Kell Brook's position is, okay, in terms of why they didn't approach Eddie Hearn, unless, but they you know they approached him after the fight. After the fight, the deal was made supposedly, and so after the deal was made, okay, for the fight, Eddie Hearn felt that there was no more part for him to play in that, and he felt slighted, which again I understand that. So he just didn't want to be a part of it. But I think he probably took too much of a hard line there. I think he should have probably just tried to get the fight on Sky, and try to work some kind of a way where he can get whatever he needs out of the promotional part of that. Okay, But again, it would have been nice if Kell Brook had included him in the whole thing from the beginning, even if he had decided to go his own way. In terms of actually making the fight, but he should have consulted with Eddie. Should have included him in the whole process, I think, and I think that would have been the thing to do. And when we talk about marriage, so to speak, figuratively speaking, and we talk about working together, we talk about loyalty and that type of thing. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, I like consider myself to be a loyal person when somebody's loyal to me, and so I understand where Eddie's coming from, but I think that he's taking a tough line in the when he says, like, if you're not with me, you're against me. I'm not, I don't understand where he's coming from with that. Okay, I mean, that's not really necessarily the case. Okay, and so taking a tough line and drawing a line in the sand, saying, well, you wasn't with me, so now you can't come to me to tell me anything. I mean, I think he's letting his feelings take over there too much. Okay, and he should look at the big picture, look at the history, look at what and listen to himself when he said that Kell Brook is a big part of his success in boxing, and he should look at that and see it for what it is, and what is that really worth to him. Okay, that's a part of being loyal as well. I mean, if somebody is a big part of your success in boxing, and you're very successful at this point in boxing, then I mean, one little thing like one particular fight shouldn't destroy that type of relationship just because the guy Kell Brook decided he wanted to go a different way. I mean, you should call him up, talk to him, and ask him about what's going on and why, and really let it really hear things out instead of just taking a that type of position. Okay, I think it's a little bit I think it's maybe he wasn't really thinking big picture there, and he probably was just looking at how he actually felt, and felt betrayed or whatever that might be. So that's what I think. I think this guy should have worked this out, okay, and they should have discussed it. Eddie Hearn could have accomplished that. I'm sure if you had called up Kell Brook and his father, had set up a meet with them and say, hey guys, I kind of feel hurt about what happened. Okay, I mean, why didn't you guys include me? What is it? The money, this, that, and let's whatever it is, let's work this out. But he didn't do that. He took a position. He playing this thing in the media. Okay, he's answering in the media. I mean, why answer in the media when you can talk to Kell Brook anytime you want to? I mean, about how you felt. Okay, I mean, maybe they did talk about it. I don't know, and maybe there's something they're both not saying. Okay, we don't know, but that's just the way I feel about it. I think that could have been handled a lot differently than just it playing out in the media. Okay, I don't think that's good for either guy. In terms of how it looks. Okay, and so they should have iron this thing out between themselves and amongst themselves, instead of this whole thing playing out in the media like some kind of soap opera. So hopefully going forward from here, they'll decide to handle this whole situation differently. I would hope, okay, and just get this thing out of the way and straighten it out, because again, even with this, again, I can't say it enough. I really understand where Eddie Hearns comes from, because as a businessman, a matchroom guy, that whole fight between Crawford and Kell Brook is a big promotional bonanza, in terms of marketing, promotion, all this type of thing. And, even if he wasn't necessarily making money from the fight, he could have made got a lot of promotion for matchroom and for his whole program. And it would have helped Kell Brook even more, get the fight more publicity. And so I understand his disappointment in that aspect of it. And I think that's where most of his disappointment actually lies, as opposed to the personal thing about this betrayal type of thing. So, again, we don't know what's going to happen in this fight, but if Kell Brook was to succeed, I mean, in this fight, I don't really think Kell Brook has to win this fight to be successful. Okay, if he put up a good fight, good show, you know, take Crawford to the limit, then you know he's going to gain a lot from this fight. Okay, if you know, but if he actually wins the fight, which you know is entirely possible, because anything is possible in boxing. You know, Kell Brook is a big guy, he's skilled, and so it's going to be an interesting fight. So if that was to happen, I mean, I'm pretty sure Eddie Hearn is going to want to work with Kell Brook from there forward. Okay, so what are you gonna do now? I mean, if Kell Brook wins the fight, what are you gonna say? Oh, hey, Kell Brook, listen, man, you want no. You see, that's the so you know, Kell Brook would just say, nah, you know, I'm gonna work with Bob Arum. You know, you didn't want to work with me. You know, you didn't want to embrace me, or you didn't want to do whatever. You said that, you know, don't come looking to you because you felt betrayed or whatever. So I mean, this thing could just spiral out of control to the point where it's not good for either person, either Kell Brook or Eddie Hearn. So hopefully these guys can sit down like men, you know, and they can iron out whatever differences they had and come to some kind of agreement, you know, about going forward. Okay, but yeah, that's basically the way, you know, I see this whole thing. Okay, and you know, like I said, Kell Brook, Eddie Hearn, they had from all accounts and from what I'm hearing from Eddie Hearn and from what I'm hearing from Kell Brook, they had a great working relationship, you know, up until now. You know, I mean, naturally they had their ups and downs like any relationship, and so everything wasn't necessarily hunky-dory or perfect, but you know, they worked their way through it and got to this point in their respective careers. Okay, and so, you know, Eddie Hearn does have a lot to be thankful for in the sense that like he himself said, working with Kell Brook has been great for his career. Okay, and so I mean, I'm pretty sure he has made more money than Kell Brook. Okay, I mean, in this situation. Okay, so you know, you know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but at the end of the day, you know, he says it from his own mouth that working with Kell Brook has been one of the best things, and has been a great success for his career. Okay, and you know, that's all good. So why would you want to throw Kell Brook under the bus now because of one particular fight that you didn't get involved in? Even though I understand where you're coming from, I think that you guys need to work through that, you know, and you know, try to come to some kind of understanding, you know, about, you know, what you guys would like to do from here forward, instead of you just saying that, oh, you don't want to have nothing to do with Kell Brook anymore because of this. I mean, I'm not really understanding that, you know, especially when you're saying that this person is instrumental in your career as a promoter and as matchroom boxing being successful. I mean, that means that you, at the end of the day, if that's the case, then, you know, you owe a great deal to Kell Brook, okay, in that sense, and you know, you should see it for what it is, okay, you know. So I mean, I don't, I'm not really sure why you know, why Eddie would, you know, take the position that he's taken at this point, that he doesn't really want to have anything else to do with Kell Brook. Okay, I mean, it sounds like maybe it's just anger in the moment. Okay, when he was saying it, and so maybe, you know, down the line he will change his mind. Okay, and you know, hopefully that's the case. We don't know, but I'm hoping that might be the case. So at this point, the fight is coming up soon. You know, from what I'm hearing from Kell Brook, you know, he's been training for 4 months. So I mean, I guess he kind of expected the fight to come through eventually, because he's been, you know, he's been basically, you know, working to get this fight for over a year now, and it looked like, you know, it's been successful, and now he has the fight coming. But he's been training, contrary to the popular opinion where they're saying that, because I heard when the Dominic English, you know, his former trainer, came on and said that he doesn't like the idea of working a fight where he had less than 8 to 12 weeks to train. But from what Kell Brook is saying, he's been training for for 4 months, basically, you know, that he knew this fight was going to come, and he's been getting ready for it ever since then. And so, he looks to be in good shape from what I can see. He doesn't look like, he look like he's going to be able to make weight comfortably. And I've said this before in another video, Kell Brook, this layoff for Kell Brook has been good for him, I think. Give him time to do a lot of different things in terms of him not fighting since the was it the Luca or the other fight he had. So he's been off for a while. So I think it's been good for him because he needed the rest, I think, to recuperate and to heal properly. And I think that we might see a Kell Brook close to 100% in this fight with Crawford. And if that's the case, it's going to be a great fight. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so there's a lot of people here, looking forward for this fight. So, let's hope that that is the case, and that he makes weight comfortably, and that since there's no rehydration clause for this fight, the WBO belt is at stake, so he should be able to rehydrate to whatever weight that he wants to, and which would probably be close to middleweight. So we'll see what happens, and it should be an interesting fight. I've heard that I've seen a picture of Terrence look like he's bulking up for this fight because he realized he's fighting a bigger guy. And so, he's bulking up. So this should be a great fight, actually. And, I'm really pumped to see how it's going to turn out, okay? Should be a great fight. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm sure everybody else is. So, back to the Eddie Hearn situation. Like I said, these guys should work out their differences. Eddie Hearn, I understand he might be upset. And so Kell Brook might be upset as well. But I think Eddie Hearn's taking a harder line than necessary, even though I understand, because Kell Brook came out there and said some hurtful things in the sense that he was saying Eddie's not just in it for the money, this, that, and the other. And I'm not sure that's the case or not. I don't think the reason why Eddie Hearn is upset because he didn't get a part of the fight is because of money. Because he has money, so he doesn't need the little money that he's gonna get from that, Kell Brook. And I think that what he is upset about is the fact that Kell Brook didn't come to him, and involve him in the whole thing. Even if he decided to go another way at the end, he should have involved Eddie Hearn in it. And I agree with Eddie Hearn on that point. And I also think Eddie Hearn wanted to be a part of this whole promotional thing with the Crawford and Kell Brook and the excitement of it all and the promotional opportunities and the publicity, and which is good for Matchroom, okay? And I think that I don't blame him for that either. I think that's, Kell Brook should have considered all these things before he decided to just work exclusively with Bob Arum, who never really did anything for him in his whole career. So why give all the glory and all the promotional thing to Bob Arum, when you could have had Eddie Hearn involved? That wouldn't stop you from getting the fight, I don't think. Okay, so I understand where Eddie Hearn's coming from in that aspect, but still, I think Eddie Hearn should soften his line about the whole thing and try to, like he said, his career in boxing has his success of his career in boxing has a lot to do with Kell Brook. So what is that worth to you? Okay, does it go away because of one thing? Is your success going to go away because you didn't get to be a part of this fight with Kell Brook? No. So that's something that's going to stay with you. So whatever Kell Brook contributed to your success, it's not going to be taken away from you. So why are you going to take away the opportunity for Kell Brook to fight on Sky Sports? Okay, when you have the power to make that happen, and you and him could have worked something out, for after that. Okay, So you guys need to just sit down, Kell Brook, Eddie Hearn. You guys need to just sit down and work this thing out between you guys, man, and get this shit, straight. Because there's no need for all of this drama, and it doesn't look good for either guy. And I think you guys should iron out whatever problem you guys have, and and get back to the business of boxing. Okay, so that's all I have to say for this one. I'm gonna leave it there. This is TBE Boxing. I'm out.